Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of The Daily. I'm Samantha Yarock with Jason Saghini, and let's jump right into Friday night's game. U.S. men's national team beat Jamaica 2-1 thanks to a late game winner in stoppage time from Brad Evans. Jason, what do you think of the game?
Well, if you're a glass half empty U.S. soccer fan, you're looking at that free kick goal that they gave up, and you have to be disappointed. This has been something that's plagued the U.S. national team for a while now, and it's something that really needs to be cleaned up as they go forward in World Cup qualifying. That said, if you're a glass half full person, they responded right away. They got the game-winning goal, and it came from Brad Evans, a guy who played another good game at right back. I think Jurgen Klinsmann is really happy with what he's seen there with Steve Cherundolo out. Brad Evans, that's his spot to hold on to. And if you want to add a little bit more to that, we found out now that Blas Perez, the FC Dallas striker, will not be traveling with Panama to the Seattle game. So that's their best attacker not playing. So maybe if you look at it that way, the glass is a little bit more than half full.
Well, speaking of players out, the U.S. men's national team is going to be without Graham Zusi and Jermaine Jones. Jason, should we be worried?
Jurgen Klinsmann says he's not worried. So a lot of fans out there calling for Landon Donovan to be called in, but Jurgen Klinsmann likes the guys who he has on the team right now. You look at guys like Kleshtin, Holden, even Joe Corona potentially could play that outside spot. And there's also a chance that you could see Eddie Johnson put out wide. Remember, he's played it for Jurgen Klinsmann here and there. Jones, on the other hand, he's a little tougher to replace. There isn't a like for like because he's such a good passer out of the deep midfield. I don't think the U.S. have another guy who can stand in and do the same things. So if they go defensive, it's going to be Jeff Cameron in the middle of the field behind Michael Bradley. But I think Klinsmann might trust a guy like Sacha Kljestan a little more, which means then Bradley slides back into a more defensive role. We'll see what Klinsmann does on Tuesday night.
Well, the U.S. face Panama tomorrow night at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. You can catch that on ESPN or Unimas. The U.S. team was on hand to watch as Brad Evans' home team, the Seattle Sounders, beat the Vancouver Whitecaps 3-2.
Yeah, and Camilo was able to answer an early Seattle goal with 2 goals of his own, but Seattle fought back, and the final goal came on a great pass from Obafemi Martins to Lamar Nagel. Martins letting it go for himself, crossing it, and Nagel putting it home for the 3-2 victory. Over 50,000 fans there at CenturyLink Field, and they go home happy.
Well, another big Western Conference game this weekend was Real Salt Lake taking on the LA Galaxy at home.
And Salt Lake now within 1 point of FC Dallas in first place after they got a 3-1 victory in this game. Dallas has 2 games in hand, but Jason Kreis happy with his team's performance and doing it against one of the big guns in the West. Salt Lake broke a 1-1 tie thanks to 2 late goals. Javier Morales setting both of them up, and that's what you want to see if you're Jason Kreis. Javier Morales pulling the strings for Real Salt Lake as they climb the table.
Well, for all the results and highlights from this weekend, be sure to check out MLSsoccer.com. One of the biggest stories heading into the weekend, and one that left Chris Wondolowski speechless, was head coach Frank Yallop and the San Jose Earthquakes parting ways.
Yeah, Yallop has been with the Earthquakes for a long time, over 5 years. He's won 2 MLS Cups with them back in the day. He won the Supporters' Shield last year, and he was named head coach of the year. So this was definitely a little bit of a shock to people. But when you look at where the Quakes are right now, 8th place in the Western Conference, a 3-6-6 record, things clearly aren't going well. I would have thought, though, his performance last year, combined with all the injuries that they've had this year, may have given him a little bit more leeway. So I wonder if there's not a little bit more to this story that we're not seeing. They got rid of him for whatever reason. We'll find out. I guess we'll follow this story over the coming weeks and see if there was anything more going on behind the scenes.
Well, assistant coach Mark Watson has been named the interim head coach for the rest of the season, so we'll be following that story, everything else we talked about on MLSsoccer.com.